ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the AlteredConfusion, a Thursday night hangout.
It's Thursday? What?
Yes.
Why didn't nobody tell me before now?
Well, pretty sure that someone told you because you're here.
No, I don't even notice. I actually show up every night and I wait outside the window to see if there's a show. I don't actually know what the weekend is.
That's creepy.
I just wait right there behind the
okay.
pirate flag.
Okay.
And I'm just staring.
I thought you were gonna say my bedroom window. I was like, that's impressive because you'd have to like be.
Yeah, that's
two
your
stories
wife's
up.
bedroom.
Okay.
So yes, I'm happy that it's Thursday. You know what I'm really excited about?
What?
The weather is warming up.
Slowly.
Slowly,
but surely.
like, you know, I know it's not like Minnesota cold, but still, it's nice being able to come home.
Sorry, wait, how'd you say that?
Minnesota.
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 You know, you don't have to come home. I actually forget all my jackets at work now.
Oh no!
Because I leave work and I don't need a jacket. And then the next morning, I'm like, oh wait.
Where's my jacket?
Yeah, it's cold. So, like, I love this time of year. It's just so beautiful outside. Oh, it makes me happy. Like the highs of 50 to 60s, you hear those little lows of the 40s, maybe mid 30s. Oh, it just makes my heart tingle with happiness and joy.
So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I of course am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commenter himself, Zealeus.
I'm going to comment more about the weather. I'm just kidding.
Hooray! Oh.
It's Atlanta. We don't actually know what the weather's going to be like, so there's nothing to comment about.
Yeah, well, it's literally someone's got one of those, like, you know, game boards that just please land on sunny.
It's Plinko.
Yeah, just drop. Let's see what happens today.
That was my favorite game, and Price is Right.
I think I actually made a Plinko game for one of my programming projects back when I was in school.
So is it like, did it like randomize at each iterate? Like every time it went down, did it randomize to go left or right, or did it have a predetermined path?
So the puck's actually moving on a constant speed back and forth.
Sure.
And you hit the button, it would go down and had the collision detection to basically bounce.
So it actually had collision detection. It just wasn't like a randomization. Oh, cool. I like it.
I used to have skills.
Where are the skills now, brother?
Locked deep inside my mind.
Do you have a lockbox of programming skills?
Inside my lockbox.
Let the box loose.
I don't know how I lost the key.
What if I can find a spell for you? There has to be a spell somewhere to unlock the power that is Charlie's programming prowess that we can all bow before so you can become the Indian god of programmers.
Yeah, you don't want me to program. I know how to program. What's the saying? I know enough to be dangerous.
Oh, that's me with networking equipment. I know how to do stuff, but I'm probably going to break it because I make it worse somehow.
Yeah,
because I know how to do stuff, but it's not the right stuff. You know,
look, I could code. I could code some awesome stuff. Just don't ask me to optimize it. Because like I said, I could code, but I don't know how to optimize.
It might be very convoluted and take 4 times as long to start your application as it should.
Yeah, that's why my one of my midterm grades for one of the classes I was in went from a 35 to an 85 when I showed the professor that my way of doing it, which was completely unorthodox, actually did it.
See, that's why I have all the kids just turn their codes. They actually upload the Adreno code so I can just run it on my laptop and see if it does what I want.
Right, but the problem is a lot of professors, the thing was I didn't type it out, I wrote it out.
Sure.
And so he was going against an average norm. Of course, I don't write normal code. And so it's like, nope, couldn't be.
Does Charlie normal anything? I'm waiting. Any audience people think Charlie does anything normal? I'm waiting.
I'm thinking. I write with my left hand, so that's, for some people that's normal, but the vast majority of the world it's not normal.
Your beard is pretty normalish for having the type of beard that you have.
Well, I actually trimmed it. Yeah. You know, I started having my beard was starting to gain legs.
Was it becoming a very a strangle-lated Brillo pad?
No, it was more like I couldn't keep it tamed because I don't know, because you still need to round it, and I don't know how to round it. So it's literally just like a square.
So you should get it long enough where you could do like a Viking does and start like tying in knots. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, my wife would kick the crap out of me if I tried to pull
that. She already
that.
does. So what's the difference between then and now?
Well, you know, there comes a time in every man's life where he's faced with a decision, and that decision is you choose your battles.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you don't.
Yeah.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is our Thursday night show, and we, of course, are going to do many of the topics that you have submitted to us via Discord.
Yeah, Discord.
have not joined our Discord channel, you can definitely hit us up. We'll give you the Discord link. Or if you're live in the chat room right now, you can get it by doing !Discord in the channel. Just, oh my God.
I don't know where it is, actually. I'm trying to get the link. I don't know where to actually find it.
Invite.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can see I've done that a lot.
Yeah. Dude, I got it. Enter.
Do you want to hit chat too?
There.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to, let's go right into the Mario movie thing.
There's a Mario movie? What?
So, ladies and gentlemen, some craziness has happened in the world of Nintendo. They have decided to disclose a little bit of information. That information is that Nintendo has 3, count them, 1, 2, 3, big things coming down the line. The first is Switch Online, which, to be honest with you, I don't know.
It's a Switch that's online?
No, yeah, so I'm guessing like more online capabilities. I'm not exactly sure.
You mean the fact that Nintendo doesn't actually know how to properly do an online ecosystem for their audience?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
But they,
They do a lot of things well. That's not one of them.
Sorry, I have to stop the program real quick. I have to do the real quick.
I was wondering. I started to worry that we were going to lose some momentum.
I got off track, okay?
About halfway through the show, Charlie would just like stop functioning.
I have no
Cannot work. Behold the majesty that is the cup of Thor, plus the holy dew of righteousness. Let it be known that Charlie is.
Do I seriously need to write PepsiCo and say, why do we no longer have Livewire in Georgia? This continues to bother me. They want to put the blasphemous Baja Blast on the shelves, but they won't give us Livewire? You sons of bitches!
Ye, Baja Blast, you deserve not the mighty cup of Charlie to taste the succulence that is his straw.
Also, they've got that new Mountain Dew out, which of course I've got a 12-pack in my car, but I still haven't opened it.
Yeah, I don't keep any liquids in my car.
Yeah, I only have like 4 or 5 12-packs of Mountain Dew of various flavors in my car. Just in case I need something on the go.
But do you have any Tide Pods?
No.
No, okay. Because everything is Tide.
Anyway, so going back to Nintendo, of course, they revealed 3 things. One, of course, was Switch Online. The second thing...
Is Mario's shirt cleaned by Tide? What do you think?
No.
No, okay.
No.
But it's clean.
It's a Japanese competitor of Tide.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what it is, but no. Anyways, the second big announcement, of course, was Mario Kart Tour! Mario Kart's coming to Switch, which we all knew was going to happen.
It makes sense. I mean,
now there's a name for it.
It's the mobile device.
Tour.
Damn.
And of course, the third and final thing is that it was announced that Mario is going to have an animated movie.
Animated?
Yes. So of course, you know, are we going to see something akin to that amazing 1993 movie that was live action?
There was a 1993 live action Mario movie?
Yeah. It's called Super Mario Brothers.
Are you sure it actually
In
exists?
name.
It's not just a figment of your imagination?
No, I'm sure I could find it. Actually, I might have the DVD somewhere.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah, no. But anyways, they're going to make an animated film. Now, not a lot of information has been released. All that we found out is that Nintendo is basically partnering with Illumination Studios. Illumination Entertainment. That's the same company that's done like Despicable Me, Minions, Ice Age. So something tells me there's going to be some CG to this bad boy, because that's right in their wheelhouse.
And some of the stuff like this, you know, you look at, for instance, Star Wars. Mm-hmm. You know what Star Wars does best is their animated stuff.
Oh, God, yeah.
And so, like, the same thing with the Mario Brothers. You know, you try bringing it to a live-action movie, it's probably going to be kind of terrible. Mm-hmm. So something like this with, you know, somebody who's done these type of movies that work, excuse me, that to me makes sense. So that, like, working with that type of production studio, maybe it'll actually work out for them.
Now, the question I have, and of course, like I said, they don't really give any information whatsoever. They just said, we're partnering to make an animated Mario film.
Sure.
Universal Pictures is going to be a co-financer on this project, and they're going to handle the worldwide distribution of this film. But my question is, Mario. Okay, so Mario is Mario. I mean, he's basically the same dude every single time. Mm-hmm. The now out of work plumber who was a plumber for God knows how many years. My question is, like, in different Marios, Mario functions differently. He's got different enemies he has to face. So
Bowser.
Right, Bowser. But Bowser's minions, his underlings, kind of change between games. So who is going to be? Is it going to be the Koopa kids? It going to be the Koopa kids?
It's got to be Koopa. You have to have Koopa. Like, you have to.
All of Bowser's kids?
I don't know if you need all of them, but you have to have Koopa, you have to have Bowser, Princess Peach, Mario, Luigi. Of course, you have to have Yoshi. Yoshi's a given.
Oh, is Yoshi going to be in there? Because Yoshi's actually...
You have to have Yoshi.
Yoshi, I think, is
No, don't say
Mario, Super Mario World?
He's been in a lot of stuff, Yoshi.
Was he in 3? No, he wasn't in 3. I think it was the Super Mario World. World 2.
I feel like he was in Super Mario 3 for some reason.
No, that was the Warp Whistle. That was the Wizard movie, man. And
He's been in a fair Yoshi's been in a fair number of stuff. He's been in Mario Kart.
Well, yeah, he's been in Mario Kart.
I see you.
Was he in Smash Brothers?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'm not very good at type of Super Smash Brothers. I never really played. Not my jam.
Speaking of which, Super Smash Brothers has once again been elected or added to the EVO. That, of course, that's the fighting game championship. But the interesting thing is the Marvel fighting game has been knocked off and is not going to be in the rotation, which a lot of people are like, what?
Oh my God.
But I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not a fighter game dude, so I don't care.
We should ask Internal Burn. He'd probably have the down low.
That's true. That's true. So anyways,
I mean, it probably makes sense. You know, it's been a number of years since the supposed Mario Brothers movie you're talking about
a number of years, dude. It's been over 20.
So it's probably time to try again. You know, Mario, it's still a cultural
Actually, it's 25.
Icon.
Damn. 93 was when the Super Mario Brothers came out.
2017, yeah. 18.
We're in 18, dude. Yeah, that's 25 years.
It's a cultural icon still. Everybody still knows who Mario is. Even kids know who Mario is.
Of course.
So
Well, he's been a staple on, like, the one thing you can depend on when it comes to Nintendo is you're going to get a Mario game and you're going to get a Zelda game.
So it makes sense to me. Like, let's do it. Why not?
And I could be wrong, but I think there's been a Kirby game on almost every single console or
A racing
device.
game?
Some sort of racing game. Doesn't have to. It's not Mario Kart though, because Mario Kart was not on the original.
Well, yes. You're right. It didn't come around to the
SNES.
Super Nintendo. Yeah. This is true. Okay, since the Super Nintendo, it's been a staple. How's that? Fair enough.
Anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see. It is very good to see that Shigeru Miyamoto is going to be, I think, a co-producer on this. And if he of course, is the man, the myth, the legend that created Mario, or helped create Mario.
I like it.
Indeed. So let's talk about...
I thought I remember reading at one point, and I'm probably totally misreading this, that Super Mario or Nintendo was actually looking at doing like a Mario type of game on the tablet or the iOS. I thought I remember seeing that.
They do. It's Mario Rush.
No, like a Mario Kart type of game.
Mario Kart.
Yes. I thought I remember seeing that.
That I don't know.
I may have been mistaken and read what you saw with the Mario Kart coming up for the Switch.
Well, it's not. No. It's not. There's a Mario game. It's a runner.
Yeah, I know that one. No, this is like recently. I thought I remember seeing that somewhere. Not on Discord. Like some random place.
No, I know. I'm just pulling something up in the background.
I just don't remember where it's bothering me now. I'll think of it later. All right. What would be our next topic, good sir?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about... This is actually... This is actually something that we've talked about, or we've hinted about in the past. And that is the lack of female participation in pro esports. Now, of course, there's a lot of reasons that, that this is potentially happening. One, thanks to Nintendo, way back when, they made the decision to be more towards guys than girls. So having guy pro players apparently is more acceptable or thought of.
It's culturally normal.
There you go, the cultural norm.
It is.
So one of the other problems that you run into when you're playing a game, a highly competitive game that's online, is that if you are female, you'd rather hide that fact, simply because of sexism and the just basically misconduct and stuff that occurs when someone finds out that you're actually a girl.
Absolutely. If you actually look at the number of players, online games, and the percentage of males versus females, the numbers really aren't that far off of being it's not 50-50, but from playing online and voice chat, you would think it's more like 90-10, based on the number of participants, but it's really close for probably like 60-40, somewhere in that range. And you're right, it's because, whenever you play, it's not always, but it's not infrequent, where when you hear a female player pipe up in a online, especially competitive game, one of two things happens. One is someone makes some kind of, well, you suck my dick kind of joke. Haha, never heard that one before. Or two, the second she dies, it's like, you're a noob girl, stop playing. Inevitably, it's not every game.
You're a fake gamer.
Yeah, and you get that so much, and I can totally understand from a woman's perspective. Or the other thing that you don't see are the whispers, too, that come out of the woodwork, too. So between all three of those, and I've seen all those happen firsthand, I totally get why that would be really frustrating as a female player to want to do that. And come out, say like, hey, I'm a female player, because people are going to now judge you based solely on one thing, your gender. And that is frustrating.
Now, see, one of the I don't remember what the fighting, ironically, the fight, I have to go back to talk about fighting games here. There is a couple very, very top-notch fighting game female players, but when you see like the vast majority of the fighting, it's there's no voice chat, and then when they do the competitions, it's you're like you could see their skill. It's not like they're hiding behind something.
Now, as far as this one goes, so the girl. Giguru, I don't actually. Gigiri, thank you. She has been signed on by the Shanghai Dragons as a tank. Primarily, she's known already as one of the best. Oh my gosh, I can picture the player in my head. I haven't told a brain fart. Oh my gosh, this is killing me now.
What's that? What's the?
She's the one, she has the big gun, she bubbles people, she has a shield, she has the Graviton Super. This is really bothering me now. She's a great off-tank, is usually what you play her as. She was really good. So about a year ago, so this is kind of made me laugh. About a year ago, her method of attack is you have a laser beam, and you have to have really good tracking to track the player. And the way she plays, it's crazy, insane high DPI, so meaning her mouse moves super crazy fast. So people accused her of hacking in competitive play because they saw the mouse moving so fast, but then when she locks onto a player, she has like crazy accuracy tracking that player. So, ironically, one of the players who actually accused her of cheating because her accuracy was so good is actually a fellow, not on the Shanghai Dragons, but is a fellow Overwatch League player who's on the circuit too. Zarya.
There you go.
Like it just came to me. So she's been signed on, and so she's going to be one of the tanks. It is worth mentioning a little bit that Shanghai Dragons is actually, I don't think they've actually won a game in the Overwatch League.
No, they have not.
So they are, it's hard to say you're bottom of the tier when, by the fact you're in the Overwatch League, still means you're pretty dang good.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like these are bad players by any stretch of the imagination. They go into, any other competitive ladder and they all face stomp you. But, you start getting these Overwatch League with the team compositions, it's just totally different criteria. So she's signed on with them. So it is exciting to see, the first female pro Overwatch player as a part of the team. She's also, because the team she's playing, so she doesn't actually speak their language. So she's actually going through a crash course to learn Korean so that she can play with the team. So that will be interesting to see how that goes, to kind of get a crash course to be able, and that's not uncommon in pro games though, where, players, they're from a foreign country and they join an English team, a Korean team, a German team, and you have to learn some of, at least the, parlance of that game in the foreign language to be able to effectively communicate. So I'm really interested to see how this goes. Obviously, I hope it goes well, because kind of like with the, when we see in the competitive player games, when you have a female player, for whatever reason, doesn't do well, and people bash her because of her gender. And that's kind of like with this, is we hope that doesn't happen, where, if the Shanghai Dragons don't do well, is the first reaction to be like, oh, you suck because you have a girl on your team. Which isn't the reality. Like, that's not why they would suck. It's because she's on the team.
I agree, and it's it's awesome that we finally have a female player playing a very important role for a team. I hate to say that that Shanghai was just like, well, we suck, so we can't go much worse, so might as well send her an invitation. I would hate for that to be their reasoning behind it.
I doubt it, because looking at the forums and the threads and stuff, like, everybody, the community is usually pretty salty about these kind of things. When it came to her, the overwhelming response was she deserves a spot. Now, to be fair, I don't think, when they were first coming out of the teams, there was some talk of Gajuri being on a team. And I don't think the response of her not being on a team initially was overwhelmingly she was on a team because she was a female. Even she came out herself and said, I'm not, the reason I'm not on a team is not because I'm a female. It's because there's just there's a hell of a lot of good players who are tanks. That's just the reality. There's a lot of phenomenal players. So I don't think her not being on a team is because of her gender. I just hope that she can represent well, regardless of her gender, and just do well. And give some other, female players who maybe are also on that fence a chance that they also deserve by showing that they can play, play with the big boys.
I did hear when they were back when all of the teams were being announced. I did hear that a lot of people were shocked that Gaguri was not included on one of the teams. For some reason, I wanted to say that people really thought she would have appeared on one of the U.S. teams.
I heard that too.
Like Dallas or New York or something like that.
I saw that. I don't know if I saw any facts behind it, but I did kind of see the same thing that you saw, where people thought a U.S.-based team, which, considering she's out of China, if I remember right, I'm like, okay.
Well, seeing that she's one of the best tanks in the game, you would think that, you would think that maybe America would spend a little extra cash. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, good for her, and I hope she kicks ass and takes names.
Indeed.
All right, so let's talk about. We'll go back to the Switch for just a second.
All right, there's more stuff about the Nintendo Switch.
All right, so here's the thing: Nintendo Switch is taking the world by storm. It's still one of the hardest to get consoles. I went to Walmart today, and they have no idea when they're going to get their next. Yeah.
Wow. When did the Switch come out? Do you remember?
Like
Is it about a year ago?
Last Christmas? Yeah. Not this past Christmas, but the one before.
I mean, that's a lot. And they've started ramping up production big time around Christmas time to help meet this demand. So the fact that they're still, selling out, which is great for Nintendo.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
The thing is, a lot of people would look at the Nintendo stats and go, oh my God, this is so, the graphics for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 just so far surpass it. Why would anyone be interested? And once again, what Nintendo has shown when they really get something good, when it clicks, is that they have the game library, they'll support it, and have some sort of innovation, even if it's a small one, that basically grabs a hold of the gamers. Now, of course, the Switch this time around is the fact that you can plug it into the dock and you can play on the TV, or you could take it on the go and you could play as a handheld. It's a big handheld.
And I think gamers have by and large shown that the race to the top for graphics, it's a waste of money.
Yes.
It honestly is. I mean, look at, what's still the world's biggest MMO? World of Warcraft.
And they're not trying to break your GPU.
I may have gone back down the rabbit hole, and I threw up. So a couple weeks ago, I started just dabbling a little bit in Guild Wars 2, just kind of logging back in, check it out. And I still occasionally check out, the free Korean type of MMO. And yesterday,
did you find the samurai one that just plays one of the Linkin Park songs on repeat?
I did not find that one out.
Oh my God,
that's awesome. But I logged in last night to World of Warcraft, and I'm like, A, okay, the graphics are better than 2004, but B, man, by today's standards, these graphics are terrible. But why do people still play World of Warcraft?
It's about the gameplay.
Yeah, it's about the gameplay. People still, we can, I'm sure there's people out there who are raging, hey, World of Warcraft, but people still play it because of the gameplay. And you take a look at Assassin's Creed, Unity, had gorgeous graphics, it was beautiful, but what happened?
Shit.
Yes, so, having a beautiful game, don't get me wrong, if done right, it's great, but I think we as gamers, generally speaking, would rather maybe, instead of spending that extra, let's just say 10% for graphics, and it costs you 50% of your production value, take that 50% production value and spread it elsewhere. Like that extra 5 to 10% of graphics, we could live without, let's be honest.
Right. The thing is, the Switch, it's not an overly complicated system, be it for the control scheme or the type of games that are on there. Sure, there's some games that have a little bit more complexity, but they're not going to, you're not going to tear your hair out over them. Well, there's probably some really tough games to play, but, you're not going to be like, I don't even know.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I know.
There is one issue that has been stated several times about the Nintendo Switch, and that is the game price point.
Really?
A lot of people have an issue with the fact that there are certain games that are, in a lot of people's minds, more expensive than they should be.
Okay.
However, to be honest with you, the chances of you getting more gameplay out of that game in comparison to an Xbox One or PlayStation 4 game, you've got a much higher chance of getting a ton more play out of a Switch game than you would for an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. One of the reasons, of course, is because they're not having to spend that much uber-duper dollars to make sure that it's so photorealistic that you can't tell. Which, by the way, I don't know who from EA Sports allowed this to happen, but the computer-generated football players that they had that popped up during the Super Bowl were butt-ass ugly, like Madden 2010, maybe?
Yeah. Wow.
It was bad. I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself?
I totally missed that.
Just have the actual players stand in front of a freaking green screen, record it, and then have them just kind of, bouncing from one foot to the other. Because, oh dear God.
I totally did not see that.
Oh, well, be happy because as a gamer, I was like,
bad?
oh no, turn the TV off.
So what are the price points that are issues with the Switch? That's kind of what I'm curious.
Okay,
because I'm going to be honest, I don't have a Switch, so Switch stuff isn't something I really particularly care about, I guess you could say.
It's so good though.
Now, as we're talking about the Switch prices, when you have the Nintendo Switch, are there games you can buy for digital download, or you have to just get the cartridge?
No, there's digital downloads, but like the Mario Kart game is coming out is almost $60. Okay. The Super Mario Galaxy, $60, unless of course you get on like Prime, then you get down to $50. So they're comparable prices to an Xbox One or PlayStation 4 game, and people are like, it shouldn't cost that much.
It's a AAA. Nintendo titles are AAA titles.
Right.
They are.
Right.
And so, okay, let me ask you this question. Let's say instead of the Switch, it was the Wii 2. Just another console trying to keep up the Xbox One and PS4. Same games, except for the intent of that console is you plug it only into your TV. Do you think people care about the $60 price point then?
I don't know. The thing is, I personally, I don't have that big of an issue. Yeah, it seems a little weird that, I don't know, for me, it just feels, I've bought Xbox One games, when it's a AAA title, that you're paying close to the $60 premium price. But I do understand that I don't know how I even say
I guess my point was, because I know you can plug it into your TV, but it is still marketed mostly as a mobile device. And I think gamers in a way have become enamored with this idea that a mobile device, I think that's where my assumption is, that's where the price anger comes in. Is because the Nintendo, it's seen as a mobile device.
Right, and so you want 3DS prices, so you're talking everything under 40.
Or people, when they think mobile, are still thinking this.
Right.
And obviously it's not. You're playing full-fledged real games on the Nintendo Switch.
Right, but if you're going to look at Nintendo handheld prices, you're looking 40 and below.
Now,
you're not watching. You're not looking at 60.
For 3DS, was that when they were when the platform was new and the games were coming out new with
Yeah,
the
it's
40?
still 40 and below.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it comes back to the value. You know, if you buy, you know, from what I heard, I know there's some issues with it, but Zelda, you know, when you bought it, if you get that value in gameplay out of it, how's that any difference than paying $60 for Mass Effect that people are also enjoying? You know, you're playing a game, full-fledged game, that you're enjoying for hours on end. What does it matter if it's on the Switch versus Xbox One? Why not have the same AAA price?
Like I said, I don't really know. I'm totally okay with the price. I think what they're trying, because I think it's a lot of financial like people who are saying, you know, they shouldn't have that high of a price point. I think that the rationale is that if the price point was lower on the games, more games would be sold. The problem is, and this was the problem since day one of the Switch release, you have a greater chance to buy the entire library of games than you have actually buying a Nintendo Switch. That's the problem.
It sounds like because of the demand of the Switch, what incentive does Nintendo have to lower the prices of the games? Like, that simple supply side economics. You look at the demand, it's crazy up here. You don't lower the price. Like, that makes no sense.
You're undercutting yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to buy all the games though, like, but you're gonna buy them anyways.
Okay, let's pause. You're buying a Switch, you're buying 2 games. You're buying Mario Odyssey and you're buying Zelda. And when it comes out, you're buying Mario Kart. Like, you're just going to. Just know you're having another $180 that you're spending, or $10 here and there for Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you buy the Switch.
Yeah. I did buy a charger, a non-dock charger for my Switch, so I don't have to plug it in. Hello.
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 How is the charge on the Switch?
It's not bad. I turned down the brightness, and I think that actually helps a lot. But I mean, I've been playing the crap out of some Zelda. I started playing another game. Oh shoot, Hero Boy and the Dragon Trap, or something like that. That is a weird ass game.
Now, did you play Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, oh god, yeah, yeah, you know, I haven't beaten it, but I played a ton of it. And then I was like, you know what? Because what I did is I started playing Mario Odyssey when Brody was in the room, my son. And so he kind of he's like, Daddy, let's play this game when I'm watching you. So I kind of like, oh, okay. So I just started playing Zelda while not with him. And I totally agree. Mario is where it's at. But yeah, I've got 3 games. Well, I've actually got 4 because I've got the Splatoon 2 bundle.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
Has there been a Mario, like Super Mario Brother game, like just Mario, not any extra stuff, that has been like, man, that was a terrible game?
So, depending on the person you talk to, the purists out there would say that Mario 2, because Mario 2 isn't actually a Mario.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And real quick, what color do I have? I have I think it's a blue and a red. No, green and a red.
Have you played it? You should know.
No, for the Switch.
The Joy-Cons?
Yeah. I want to say it's green and red. It's whatever the Splatoon colors are.
Have you played Splatoon?
No, I haven't. It was a downloadable. Actually, you know what? I think it's green and
green and
red. There it is.
There you go.
But yeah, I haven't played Splatoon yet. I mean,
so if you did like the weird because do you still have to do the voice chat thing through your phone?
Voice chat.
When they originally talked about the Switch, in order to do the voice chat online, you're gonna have to like use like an app on your phone or something.
I have no idea. I don't play online.
That's true. You're a loner. You're a lone wolf.
With the exception of
Smite.
Well, actually,
Paladins.
I've kind of hung it up for Smite.
You made Haluisu sad.
I don't know how I made. They took off the Meavers. Yep. I still need to figure out. So there's this push for like you have your Amiibos or whatever, Amiibis, whatever they are. They're like, oh yeah, add them into the game. I'm like, what? And I saw the price tag. I'm like, no.
No idea.
So, anyways, yeah. So the price point for games apparently is causing financial people to go, oh, you could do so much better if you drop the price.
Or we get to do something like hotcakes at $60.
Because Nintendo's already got everyone by the cojones, so they're going to be able to sell at whatever price they want to put the games at, because people just want to have those games ready so that when they finally do get a Switch, they can play the games. All right, let's move on to another. Yeah, why not?
I can't read it.
Is excessive game playing a health disorder? Oh, that's a Heath disorder, because I left the L out.
No! I have a disorder of Heath's.
Heath.
So this comes about because the World Health Organization, they come out with basically, they have like this big book of disorders.
Yes, it's called the, let me make sure I get it right. The International Compendium of Diseases.
Thank you. So one of the things that they're
The
gonna
11th revision is happening this year.
that they're looking at putting in there is excessive video game playing a health disorder? Now, before everybody gets their panties in a bundle, we're like, oh my gosh, those kids, they're just need to play less video games. It's not really an addiction. It's not like the HWO is just like, if a kid plays too many video games, he's addicted.
That's the World Health Organization.
That's what I just said.
You just said WHO. You didn't actually say what WHO
Oh,
meant.
World Health. I thought I said that to start with.
No, you didn't.
Sorry. WHO, World Health Organization, my bad. It's a very, very specific criteria that they're using to define what it is.
Would you like me to read it?
I can summarize it.
I can read the whole thing for you. All right, so basically this is what the ICD, the International Compendium of Diseases, is putting down for gaming disorder, which of course is a pattern of persistent or recurrent online or offline digital game playing that manifests through impaired control over session frequency and time, over prioritization of play, and escalation of play despite negative consequences. So, to get even crazier, the behavior pattern is of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. The pattern of gaming behavior may be continuous or episodic and recurrent. The gaming behavior and other features are normally evident over a period of at least 12 months in order for a diagnosis to be assigned, although the required duration may be shortened if all diagnostic requirements are met and symptoms are severe.
So I think it's important to note that this isn't just like like I said today, it's not just you play too many video games and you just sit in your basement all day. It's a very specific criteria of how it's adversely affecting other parts of your life over a prolonged period of time. It's not just like I binge once in a while. This is over months.
What about the people who do like the gaming marathons? They try to play 72 hours straight and then die in their seat.
Okay, that's probably a problem.
Did they suffer from this disease? They only do it like once every month.
Well, the other important thing to notice of this too is, with this is. So the authors, there's a little bit of, from different organizations, obviously the video game associations, there's a lot of pushback. So the author has 2 points about that who kind of wrote this up. One is, she's like, I get calls from parents on a regular basis saying my kid plays video games too much. He plays 4 hours a night. Her response was, your kid's not addicted to video games. You just be a damn parent.
Oof.
What?
Please make that sound. Oof.
So even the author recognizes that there's a difference between your kid just plays too many video games, and the second point is that so they have different things besides, obviously the disorders besides just video games, such as depression and OCD and other things. And I forget what the actual term is, but anytime that they found somebody who they would suspect a video game disorder, is they also have other underlying issues like depression or some other kind of other associated mental disorder. It's kind of the idea of, it's not like, it's more of a symptom of those other disorders that they have. So it's not like you just have video game disorder without anything else wrong in your life. It's a symptom of other stuff going on too.
Right. So the person you're talking about is a senior lecturer in psychology at Cardiff University. In their research, they found very small correlations, if at all, of symptomology with broader life well-being. So we actually didn't find, for example, the symptoms correlating with health directly. Oh, sorry, that was the person who was opposed to it. Then there was another professor from Nottingham Trent University who said the bottom line is problematic gaming. Whether you call it gaming disorder, whether you call it gaming addiction, there is a small minority of people out there where gaming has completely taken over their lives. It's a big deal to have something officially a clinical diagnosis, and one of the reasons it's a big deal is that it becomes expensive. They worry that its inclusion might shift resources into methods of treatment instead of whether or not treatment is actually necessary. Now, of course, in my opinion, like one of the reasons is so that for this addiction will be covered by health insurance. Well, I hate to, burst their bubbles, but fun fact about the health care or health insurance in the U.S. is that a lot of doctors are actually having to drop it because they're not able to actually help individuals, especially in the psychology and psychiatric way. We gotta protect those who aren't mentally well. Well, that's not happening, and a lot of psychologists, psychiatrists are having to drop the health thing so that they can get the full price to help the individual, because that's the only way.
I thought we had a great healthcare system. It was built bigly.
Yeah, bigly. Greatly, we're just going to destroy it.
Greatly health.
Bigly health. Military marches.
Ooh, a healthy military march, biglier.
For the upper class. Anywho, I could see, I too would associate it with just being, adding on to something.
Yes.
People who have, let's say you have a combination of OCD and anxiety. Well, that basically goes hand in hand. You get anxious because something's not perfect. And so but you have to fix it. You have to fix it. But it's not perfect, so you start freaking out. So you see that balance. So let's say that you're a perfectionist in a video game, which of course would be OCD in a different term, and you also have anxiety.
Okay.
That of course would cause you to play more. You'd be trapped in an infinite loop of trying to play the game perfectly.
And I think the other point the authors made too is gambling is a very well-established disorder.
Right, they're saying gambling and substance abuse and alcohol consumption.
But as far as gambling, look what's happening in video games nowadays.
There's a gambling aspect.
Yes, that's become such a huge thing between the different loot boxes. Yeah, I even think back to, when I used to raid in World of Warcraft, there was a form of gambling in that when you went to
roll the die.
Yeah, you rolled the die to see who got the fat loot from the big, from the boss.
It was need or greed, right?
Oh yeah, need versus greed. Well, at that point though, when you had raids, you had loot masters. So loot masters would give out, actually at that point, based off of DKP, which is terrible, but that's a whole other thing. But yes.
DKP.
Yeah, but
spell it. What is DKP?
Dragon Kill Points. So basically, Dragon Kill Points was back in the day of 40-man plus raids. Is when you went on raids, going on raids and doing good stuff, like being successful, not being an epic fail. You got points in DKP. And what happened was when the fat loot dropped, is you could buy that loot with your DKP. So the purpose was to be equitable in who got the loot. Yeah, that never really ended that way. It was to prevent officers from giving their favorites the loot. So it's supposed to be you could purchase it with stuff that you earned fairly. But you're right. In other regular 5 and 10 man dungeons, it was need before greed, but you still had to hope. It was still the gambling that your loot that you wanted dropped. Regardless of the DKP system or need before greed, you were still waiting for your purple helmet.
Right, but
your class.
But there are always those morons who are like, no, I need it. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You're a warlock. You don't need...
No, dude, I'm a warlock. I need my strength so I can give it to my Felguard so he can have his helmet. I need my Felguard helmet.
Oh my God. No.
So yeah, even back then, there's still that element of gambling. And that's why you continue to go back and raid night after night, is because you wanted your loot to drop.
Well, now, of course, you're with these official pro esports leagues, there's gambling already involved. Either in the game by itself, like in Paladins or Smite, you don't get like money per se. However, if you guess things right, you get points that you can then use for special items. So you get like special currency for guessing the right thing.
I mean, loot boxes in every game.
Right, but loot boxes, yeah, right.
It's gambling.
Yeah, absolutely. You buy a couple extra, I don't know, 1,000 crystals and Paladins, and you go, I would like this crate or treasure box, and hopefully it will have something where I can pimp out my favorite character. But chances are it's gonna be for a character that I don't play.
Yeah, that's the way it always goes.
The other thing, I don't know what it is, but like the vast majority of the characters I love to play in both Smite and Paladins, and I'm sure the vast majority of games that basically have a player roster that you're going to goof around with, is I always choose the characters who really don't have like a whole library of customization.
Nice.
It's like in Smite, there's a couple characters that just have like a ton of skins.
Oh yeah, they're favorites.
But it's like, my favorites have like 2 or 3 skins.
It's like in Overwatch if you play Tracer. Well, because Tracer's like the face of Overwatch. So that's why, because that's like the advertising person. So anytime you see like new skins, and you like the festivals, there's like, when you get to Halloween and Christmas, they always do like special skins. And there's always like, Tracer always gets one. And then there's like some characters who like never get skins because they're just not cool.
I'm trying to think of Paladins. Paladins has got to be Victor, Maeve, Saris, and Fernando.
Yeah. No hostages here. We're all one big happy family.
So no oof, just a ha.
Yeah!
Hoo-yah! Okay, so let's move on from the disorder and nope.
No, I already did that one.
All right. So let's talk about something that's
not so bueno.
No. Here we go. So the co-creator of the video game that's become like crazy awesome to many people. I can't stand Counter-Strike. It's too realistic for me. I don't like realism in shooting games. Anyways, one of the co-creator of the video game series Counter-Strike, a gentleman by the name of Jess Cliff, has been arrested and charged with sexual abuse of a minor.
Oops.
So, let us tell you exactly some of the backstory here. So this gentleman, he frequents basically dating or arrangement sites where he gets to meet with women to arrange dates, and sometimes those arrangements include payment for the date or service.
So prostitution.
Yes.
Okay.
So the individual who was and this is why it was a sexual abuse of a minor, the victim is a juvenile victim, which was last year she was 16, so this year she's 17, so she's still juvenile. She actually went through a website called seekingarrangements.com. It's a place for meeting with men who offer to pay money to have sex with her. So, yeah.
That's no bueno.
No. So basically, what happened is apparently there was several encounters, but the big no-no was that in their last encounter, he videotaped it, and he still has it. So of course,
Digital footprints.
So she apparently said that she mentioned the potential illegality of their arrangement, having
Yep.
sex for money.
Yeah.
Which he allegedly, stated it's technically illegal because he was paying for her time. I don't know in what world this dude thinks that explanation works.
Mental gymnastics for the win. So he's got like the double whammy going here. He's got the whole prostitution thing going and the underage part. Yeah, you know, it's, yeah, not good.
So of course he's like, well, I didn't know she was 16. I thought she appeared to be 23. She appeared to be 23. Okay. Even though I believe, according to the victim, she might have stated that she was 17, or maybe I don't know. Anyways, so so apparently this guy is a frequenter for both SeekingArrangements.com and SugarDaddyArrangements.com.
Oh, wow.
A real stand-up gentleman. And he, of course, he's like, I don't know who that girl is. And so, of course, the cops served warrants to AT&T, Verizon, and SeekingArrangements.com. And, of course, we're able to follow a message trail of this gentleman and this woman. Of course, this gentleman's account included a picture of him. And so they're like, yeah, it's you. So he was unable to recall or connect the communications or any other recollections to photographs of her. Still, there was enough collaboration to basically to arrest him. He has posted a $150,000 bail.
Wow.
His next hearing is February 25th, and he will or is still suspended from Valve software. However, Valve is not coming out to talk about the situation, of course, because it's an ongoing court case. Anybody who knows anything, even if you know the guy is guilty of sin, since it's an active case, you, as a company, you cannot make a statement.
Because Valve is probably being subpoenaed for records on their end as far as whatever was going on in the situation. So you're right, they have to stay quiet. And you know, this is something we talk about at school a lot, is you have a digital footprint. And stuff
Everyone
you do
does.
online, everybody has one. Whether or not you think you're being super top secret with your snap fishes and your twit faces, it's all
Twit faces? The hell is that?
twit book.
Twit? Okay. That's just a little. Now we're getting a little dangerous. That doesn't sound right.
It's all there somewhere. You might not think it is, but that's kind of the point. Is, you know, it's, don't be well. First off, let's be honest. Don't do something illegal like go solicit underage minors. That's a good first step not to fail at life. How about that? And even then, you just, you know, and that's the world we live in.
Right.
You know, you got these kids. You know, they're living in a world where, you know, think about when we were their age. We'd be doing tons of stupid crap online without even having a second thought. Because that's just a teenager brain. They don't think 2 steps ahead. And now, you know, doing these things that are going to stick with them the rest of their lives.
What, my actions today have ramifications in the future?
Exactly. You know, at least if we did it back in the day, it was a note we passed to the girl in class. Who cared? We tore it up.
You got to get it back first.
Unless the teacher stole it and ran in front of the class.
Or she somehow photocopied it in the library.
And then posted it on all the windows for everybody to mock you with.
No!
Flashbacks.
Oh, God, I can't take it anymore.
But like, it kind of ended there. You know what I mean? Like, it was done. Whereas now it's, you know, post on Facebook, on Twitter, and all that stuff, and it doesn't go away.
Instagram.
Yeah, it's a totally different age, and you know, it's exciting, and at the same time, it can be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just, you know, first off, don't solicit minors. That's a good first step. But just be, you know, always aware of what you're posting online, especially with social media. I know I've made my mistakes here on the show, and part of it's also learning from those mistakes.
Yes.
Be like, well, I did that. Let's not let that happen again. You know, everybody does stupid stuff, but you continue to be an idiot. I know I continue to be an idiot a lot. It's part of my nature. I try to learn slowly. I try. I don't always succeed.
I know I've made some mistakes, probably on this show and other stuff, but yeah.
But like, there's making mistakes, and then there's just being this. It's different levels of continued illegal activity that you probably just shouldn't do in the first place, regardless of digital content or not. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, now, no, one more. All right, so let's talk about the big one here. Ladies and gentlemen.
Gentlemen and ladies.
As you probably have heard at this point, the FCC basically wants to F us up the kazoo.
How does it feel, sir?
Not comfortable.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
So basically, FCC, the leader of the FCC, also one of the lead legal counsel for Verizon. However, they say that he's no longer involved. However, there's been apparently cases where it's been shown that he's still receiving a paycheck. Anyways, so of course he's gone. So now, what's now occurring is that states are starting to go, you know what? If you try to pull this crap, we are going to create laws and regulations and pass bills that allow for us to control internet neutrality, or sorry, net neutrality in our state.
You mean we're going to listen to our constituents and do what's best for the people?
Some of those lawmakers, absolutely. Other ones, like a certain individual who I will not name, but I'm sick and tired of getting his form letter of him spitting back exactly not what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So basically, here's the deal. You have, I think it's...
a couple states.
So basically, these states have taken or are contemplating taking action currently. That's, of course, the state of Alaska, California, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Montana, Nebraska, New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Virginia, Washington, and Wisconsin.
That's a fair number of states, brother.
Indeed. Now, here's the thing. One of the... Let me just make sure I get this. One of the... I'm trying to remember who this guy is. New York State Senator says that when he was talking to lawyers, he believes that the state legislators have the legal standing to override the FCC ruling. He said a legal fight seems inevitable.
Yes.
He said crafting the right legislation could give them an upper hand in the courtroom. New York and California are heavy hitters, and any effort by combination of the two might shake the FCC's resolve. So what is being recommended to all the states who want to do this is, okay, let me make sure I got this. Okay, Congress has never preempted the states from regulating companies that communicate by wire. Internet communicates by wire. States have power over charges, classifications, practices, service facilities, or regulations for or in connection with intrastate communications by any carrier. States need to focus their bills on state infrastructure used by the ISPs that the state supports. When it is possible to draw a clear division between intrastate and interstate activities, the Communications Act allows federal and state governments to regulate within their respective spheres.
Okay.
So basically, the Communication Act also explicitly allows states to regulate business practices of ISPs so long as the activity being regulated is intrastate, so within the state.
Yep.
States need to focus on leveraging assets that they have already put in place that are used by ISPs. Things like cabling, conduit, utility poles are examples of assets the state has supplied that ISPs depend on to flourish. The government of California has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on these assets. That's why if California and New York were to put down this and were able to, weather the storm, you're talking about
especially Silicon Valley in California. I mean, that's...
And if New Yorkers get behind this, That's scary.
Well, the New York guy, he's been at the forefront of this since the beginning. He's the one who was always screaming at the FCC when this all started and wanted to subpoena them for some of the records that were on the sketchy. And so he's been in the forefront of this for quite some time.
Absolutely.
Of attacking the FCC and be like, oh, you guys suck.
No, yeah. So, I mean, I'm happy to see that, it's sad that that the government at large has not, does not want to actually support their own constituents. Like the individual who keeps emailing the forum letters saying, I'm glad that you want to talk about net neutrality. I too support the FCC losing their power. I'm like, no. This tells me that you just gave me a forum letter, you're not actually reading what I'm saying.
And of course, if you read, some of the arguments behind it, where increased infrastructure spending by the ISPs. And if you look some like Charter, for instance, who they touted as increasing their spending for the last year because of net neutrality being repealed. Well, do you know what was still around last year when they increased their spending? What was still around last year? That's right, net neutrality. And guess what's happening to their spending for infrastructure in the next year with net neutrality not in place?
States could stop.
It's going down. They're actually not spending as much on infrastructure next year. Imagine that. That's an interesting distinction there. That it's basically the opposite of what they said would happen. Yeah.
So real quick, one of the biggest issues that people run into, or I guess misconceptions or whatever, is without net neutrality, you're talking basically you have companies, big name companies that are going to be in the fast lane. They're going to be able to pay that extra so that their stuff basically populates in all the search engines first. They're easily accessible. So what could happen is that the next way, I know they're like, well, the net neutrality actually cramps innovation. No, it allows for innovation. Without net neutrality, allows certain companies who have very innovative ideas or thoughts or processes could literally be drowned by those with deep pockets. That's really the issue. It's not I probably will suffer from a little bit of discomfort for not being able to do exactly what I want to do, but by putting all the power in the ISPs, you're talking about Netflix having to pay out the ass to allow for their streaming service. That's one of the reasons why I think Netflix kind of saw this, and so did Hulu. That's why they're doing all their original content, so that they could basically cut ties with everything and still have stuff to go off of. Now, of course, Hulu was purchased by, or the controlled stake in Hulu has now been purchased from Fox to Disney, and that, of course, could be the rumor is that's going to be Disney's preferred streaming platform, of course, because they own the
they're
controlling
supposed to be
stake.
pulled from Netflix in 2019.
Right.
To go to Hulu.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, it's scary because you could literally kill innovation and creativity, because if you start small, you're not going to survive.
It could also potentially, not only that, it could create the cableization of the internet. It is not inconceivable,
A la carte,
that your local ISP, who, mind you, may also be owned by media conglomerates, so they have a preferred user base, is they could charge you, if net neutrality is repelled, there's nothing stopping them from charging you an extra $5 a month to access Netflix.com. There's no technical reason why they could not do that. And so that could very easily happen. Of course, then the counter argument for the FCC is like, oh, well, people will leave and go to an alternate competitor.
No. It's not that. They said that the ISPs will be
self-policing.
No. They will be required by law to state all the stuff that they're basically going to strangle you with.
That helps a lot. That makes it so much better. Because, of course, if you don't like Comcast, what are you going to do?
AT&T Uverse?
You can always get satellite.
I think that's with AT&T Uverse.
No, it's DSL. You could use your 4G hotspot for life, brother.
Yeah, but that's no.
Yeah, I can use my hotspot off my cell phone to play video games.
Yeah, that'll go well.
Yes, and that's the other issue. Yeah. So it's hopefully, so I'm happy to see states taking this into control. Ultimately, it's going to come down to crazy legal battles.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to go up to the Supreme Court, and that's where it's going to eventually end up, to see how this all plays out. So that will definitely be interesting to see how that goes. Obviously, we know where we stand with net neutrality, and let's be honest, the large, vast, overwhelming majority of people crossing all kinds of party lines and every other kind of line you can imagine support net neutrality.
The problem is that, and this is an issue that I'm sure many different countries around the world do. You can support something, but if you're not vocal about it and you tell your elected officials about it, then they get to choose whatever the hell they want to.
Well, and the other way too, and a great resource for this is a website called techdirt.com. They write extensively about net neutrality. Is what you're also probably going to start seeing in the next year or so is you're going to see bills in the United States Congress come out that they claim are to keep or to legislate net neutrality. But if you actually look at the verbiage of what these net neutrality laws are, they actually, if anything, keep the retraction of net neutrality in place by creating exemptions for things like fast lane, paid prioritizations, and all kinds of other loopholes for the ISPs to use. But now these congressmen can say, look at us, we support net neutrality, even though the law that's for net neutrality, it's going to be the Freedom Net Neutrality Act is what they're going to call it.
Well, actually, one of the things that that's rumored to be in the works is basically legislation that would stop the ability of states to preempt the federal government from doing what they're doing.
Now, of course, it's states' rights, except for when it actually doesn't benefit us. I mean, let's be honest, the people who are probably in favor of this are probably the same one who screamed bloody murder about states' rights in other cases. I'm just going out on a limb here and guessing that that's the case.
True. Yes, it's unfortunately we live in a world where half the time you're like, no, my state's wrong. We got to follow the federal government's view on this. And then there's times where, no, federal government's wrong.
Yep.
We got to stand by our states' rights.
Yep. It's whatever basically helps
Benefits
their
us
purses.
best, yeah.
It's really what are the donors telling them to do. It's really, I mean, especially, it's a little bit better on the local level, but on the national level, it's who's bought and paid for our people who represent us. Very cynical, but that's also the reality.
You know what the most powerful group, organization, that's not government elect? Yes.
Yep.
You know why?
Because they pump in the money and they also can very expediently and fast mobilize the masses to vote people out of Congress.
It's not. No, so here's the thing. NRA, yes, they make donations, but the thing is they are very organized. They're not actually as big as people would think, but they know every place that, some type of gun thing is going down, and they will be there when it's open to the public. They'll be there to try to counter it. And because they're always there en masse, you pack the house with all these people, NRA people who don't want to talk about gun laws. Guess what? You can't pass anything by guns because the public is saying no.
Yep, and if you support gun rights in any form or fashion, they'll do anything in their power to get you voted out of office. And they're a group who can do that.
Because they are a passionate, very organized group who have insiders who will tell them everywhere in the U.S. that something could potentially stir the pot. Yes, every mass shooting, NRA membership goes up. Anywho, so let's do some shout outs. Actually, you know what? First of all, and we're gonna do a blank one because I don't actually have a slide for this.
I don't know what it is, oh my gosh!
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take a very small wee bit of time.
Charlie, a wee bit of time is never such a thing.
We want to wish one of our Altered Confusion awesome people a very happy birthday. Happy birthday to Jesse.
Happy birthday.
No, we're not singing. But anyways, Jesse, of course, is our, basically.
He's the man, the myth, the legend.
He's our third
He was
amigo.
the in-studio host before I moved down to Atlanta. So
Yeah.
without Jesse, this may not be here.
Anyway, so yeah, Jesse's birthday is today. He is celebrating it with his wife and family.
And not us.
Sadly, no. But happy birthday to Jesse.
Very nice.
All right, so let's get back over to MomoCon. MomoCon, of course, is happening in Atlanta, May 24th through the 27th, 2018. We, of course, will be there. We'll have a table. We have submitted 2 panels, and I've submitted my media credentials. Hopefully, I'll be a media person, as well as give you panels. At the bare minimum, we'll have a table. You can come by, stop, say, sup, and then, ta-da, we can hang out. Now, of course, if we talk about conventions, we also have to talk about another convention we'll be at. This one, of course, is AlteredCon, which is happening March 9th through the 11th, 2018, in Peachtree Corners, Georgia.
Peachtree Corners.
Peachtree Corners,
That's a very
Georgia.
southern.
Peachtree Corner.
I like it.
And that, of course, is at the Peachtree Corner Marriott. It is, it's going to be a fun time. It's an analog convention, so you're not going to see video games there. You're going to see your board games, your card games, your RPGs, your dice games, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. And hopefully, you can all make it out.
Yep, I'm definitely looking to it. I think I'm already planning with one of my buddies of having an all-day Descent affair on Saturday. He's going to bring Descent, so if anybody wants to come and play Descent with us, it's a very fun. Basically, think of it's basically Baldur's Gate as a board game in that type of sense. It's really fun. We'll probably have a phone that has an app that places the GM. So it's a cooperative game. I did not mention that. So it's a cooperative board game. And they're like long campaigns that can take like hours. But like it's, it goes over time. And like we played probably a year ago, and like those characters we had, we'll continue playing at AlteredCon, for instance.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, only
long campaign.
Only more action. So yeah, I'm
only more action. There's tons of action. Anywho. AlteredCon's a lot of fun. Of course, we missed it this past year. Ando had to. Will there be a live Altered Confusion stream at Ando? I'm going to try. The first thing is I'm going to attempt to stream the opening ceremonies. And of course, that'll be like the real check. If I can stream the opening ceremonies, then we'll stream the actual. We'll stream an actual panel. Zealeus, you're actually going to be there, or are you in a competition? I can't remember for Ando.
March 9th, I'm actually at a Nightwish concert, which is my favorite band ever. If you don't know who Nightwish is, go look it up. They're phenomenal.
Anywho.
Yeah, so March 9th, I'll be there for that, but then I will be there after. I'll be there on the 10th.
Awesome. So let's do the one right above.
Did we yes.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's this phenomenal thing called Patreon. Patreon is your time. Gives you the ability to give back to us if you like what we're doing. Patreon is a monthly subscription or donation system where you can donate $1 and up. And that, of course, goes to Altered Confusion. That Altered Confusion and the Altered Confusion Fund goes towards keeping equipment, our ability to go to conventions, to pay for our different pieces of the convention, like power at MomoCon, or overall expenses for something like Big Fan of Greenville. Hopefully, we can raise enough for Big Fan of Greenville for 2018. That would be awesome. They haven't opened up all the information for Big Fan of Greenville, but as soon as they do, I'm pretty sure we'll be high on the list. So
I'm looking forward to it
because we've been there the first 2 years, and of course I have an interesting reputation at Big Fan of Greenville.
Well, you're just special in all ways, so
If anyone would like to know, my apparent reputation at Big Fan of Greenville is I'm the man that killed a convention.
Well, We aim to please her Alt Confusion. Yes. Now, to be fair, it deserved what happened in a way because there are issues. But, you know, if you want to know, ask us later or whatever. I still remember it vividly. I still dream about it. It'll always hold a special place in my heart.
Is that your heart? You sure?
Yes.
Anywho. So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have reached the end of our show.
The end of the show? No! No! I'm trying to find it.
One more.
No,
There it is.
Sorry. There we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we have reached the end of our show. We do this every Thursday, mostly at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we basically run for an hour and 15 minutes. We would love to have you in our Discord channel so that you can give us as much of your knowledge and opinions as possible. And of course, give topics and suggestions for our next Thursday's show. That's how we determine what topics we're going to be talking about, is what are the community, what's on the community's mind. So, I know, your fans demand a 2-hour hangout.
Wow. Sam, you're very
Persistent.
Yes.
And Sam, I would love to give you 2 hours, and I probably could, but we would have to have an intermission. We would need to have someone would need to give me a like a dancing, like, you know, a video game character emoji of like intermission. Maybe a dancing popcorn box.
You don't, you know, I think you could ramble on for another 45 minutes. I'm not gonna lie.
I could.
Yes.
Oh God, I could. And that's why I do I gotta stop doing that. That's why I come back to play video games, is that I'd love to continue our conversations. But to rope other individuals in, I like to throw up some video game just so I can grab the person who may not know anything about what we do on Thursdays. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, before I continue to ramble any further, because you know I could do that till the cows come home, I do want to thank everyone who tuned into the Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a great time giving you everything coming out of our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another round of Thursday Night Hangout. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join in all the fun, the best way to do it is join our Discord channel.
Discord it!
So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.